In the last 1 year, the education sector has undergone a complete change. Although the pandemic wasn't something anyone was prepared for, the way the education world adapted to the situation and the rapid changes it also brought along in teaching methods and pedagogies has in fact ensured that learning never stopped. From classroom shifting to online platforms and teachers also having to adapt to technology, digitalization seems to be the future. But how can we really ensure that this change and growth reaches every nook and corner of the country? Hello and welcome. I'm Richa Sharma and you're welcome to Amrita Edge Presents Disha, creating future thinkers. Before we begin our discussion for today, let me show you the story of how a power duo is using technology to leverage adaptive learning techniques and has already impacted over 1.5 billion families in states like Bihar, Jharkhand and Assam.
In government school system, we find there are very limited number of quality educators. What we did was we onboarded quality teachers from different regions. I mean, in the same district, we requested our teachers to come online with us on the platform. We started this real-time doubt discussion sessions on our platform. These students have started sharing their doubts on the platform, and they were getting real-time answers to that. We had an example where a teacher from Bihar who was staying in Delhi, she was teaching more than 800 students of Bihar. Ecovation we developed as a mobile platform. After that, we got a chance of doing intervention in Banka district of Bihar. One of the very surprising thing which I found was the low attendance. So that form we realized that the technology interface for these bottom of the pyramid people has to be modified, and for that we adopted television. Moving forward, when this whole pandemic thing came, the classroom was also shut down. Then we evolved the model further and decided to take again a transformation where we involved Doordarshan as a delivery channel, where we broadcasted our lessons on DD Bihar, DD Jharkhand, DD Rajasthan. Depending upon the target audience, these technology interface should be designed. So the interface should be super simple. We have covered 8 states. Bihar was the first where we did the intervention. Then Jharkhand, we onboarded Assam, Arunachal, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan adopted the model. Nagaland is going to launch the program. Himachal is another state who's using the platform and the model. Education sector was one sector which was running more of a conventional manner. But with this COVID lockdown, now that trust has been established, that tech can teach. And this will become new normal. This is becoming new normal. Down the line in 5 years, when people will start learning technology, the form of technology will certainly change, where this personalized adaptive learning which we are seeing in first world will be the story even in rural India. With time, technology in education will be there and will be there forever.
It's true that innovation, when used in the right manner, can help transform the face of education even in the remotest of villages, and Ecovation has proved that. Now, without any further ado, let's begin with the discussion. But before that, let me introduce you to our esteemed panel for today. We have with us Ritesh Singh, who's the founder and CEO of Ecovation. We also have Dr. Prashant R. Nair, who's the Associate Professor in Computer Science and Engineering from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. Arnab Kumar, who's the former Program Director of the Frontier Technologies Niti Aayog. Ninad Karpe, the partner of 100x.vc and the former chairman of CII Western Region. And Professor Pushpak Bhattacharya, who's the Professor of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Bombay. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Going across to Ritesh first. Ritesh, let me begin by asking you, what is the on-ground reality when it comes to the usage of technology for education?
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me in the show. So just like quality education, which is unevenly spread across countries, the use of technology in education is also very uneven in nature. Whereas on one side, we have students who are using AI-enabled personalized adaptive learning in mobile devices. On the very second side, we have people who are not having basic infrastructure to use education technology such as mobile internet, mobile phone. We are largely working with government school system where 30 to 35% students only are connected with mobile internet, and rest of them are having no access. So in that case, it is totally uneven in nature. Even talking about the schools, using it at the larger front, government school system, even though they have some of these schools are having technical setup, but these are unused.
Absolutely. In fact, Ritesh, we have seen there has been several challenges that has also been faced. What were the challenges that you faced, and what were the biggest takeaways from this entire case study and your research as well?
So, we approached this problem with our own platform, mobile platform, Ecovation social learning platform, where we invited educators to launch their learning groups, and we allowed learners to discover these educators based on their interest and region. And we took this platform, went to different areas in our country. The moment we landed to government school system, we realized that the platform itself has a very limited reach. And more than that, when we are giving it into teachers, even they are also not very comfortable in using it. So that way, this was the biggest challenge which we had.
Absolutely. In fact, if I can ask Arnab Kumar to also come in now. Arnab, if you can tell us how digitization seems like the eventual reality for everyone in the post-pandemic world. We are in fact still amidst a pandemic, but how does that really affect the education, especially for the ones in the rural India?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on this panel. What we have seen in the last year or so is that the adoption of technology has really accelerated. And a lot of people who hitherto might not have been comfortable with usage of technology now find it very, very comfortable to use. So it is this theme that we need to leverage, and it is this theme that we need to build upon. When it comes to building technology solutions for India scale, the typical way that we have adopted so far is that we build a solution which a bunch of us and a lot of people probably on this panel, we think we are comfortable with using, and then try to find our users. In my view, probably the right way to do this is put the persona of the actual users right at the center of the product development, design it from ground up, and then go about building a technology solution. For example, people in rural areas, people who might not be digitally sophisticated, may find a different way of consuming a technology solution, and that becomes very, very important. If you design it from ground up, keeping in mind the eventual end users, then you probably will have more adoption and traction of a technology solution.
In fact, going across to Dr. Prashant Nair as well. Dr. Prashant Nair, what is the solution in a way to reduce this urban-rural divide? And also, if you can share more steps that even the government can take as far as reducing this divide is concerned, because clearly there have been children out there who have not gotten access to education because they didn't have the means for the same.
Yeah, well, this digital divide is definitely a fact of the life today. But what we are seeing is that we have to move ahead. If you ask me, a parent has to consider that having a laptop or a high-speed mobile broadband connection is a window for the child to move on to the future. It's actually the instrument that transforms the life of the student. So I think that kind of awareness has to come in the parents. That's a very important investment with respect to digital mobile phones or computers. So having said that, definitely there are people who are not able to afford. So another thing is that we have to definitely have technology as a huge leveler. We have to invest in technologies that make hardware cheaper and affordable, whether it be tablets or laptops or desktop computers, servers, mobile phones. I think a lot of significant research is needed to reduce the cost of hardware. Of course, the government is also coming with a lot of PLI schemes to promote hardware manufacturing, I think that trend has to continue. And all these kind of dovetail into bridging this digital divide.
Absolutely. Going across to Ninad now. Ninad, we just heard our panelists saying that there is a need to ramp up our infrastructure. But how can we ensure that there is quality education powered by also technology for all, irrespective of their socio-economic conditions?
So there are layers and layers of students in India. Let us go to the bottommost layer who cannot even afford, let's say, a mobile phone. It is a responsibility of people like us, corporates and government, to provide community centers. Kerala government has a very unique model. They have community centers for the people absolutely cannot even afford a mobile phone. Girls and boys come to a common community center. There's a television set and a laptop. These are absolutely the people who cannot afford anything. And then you can go upwards from there. You have Diksha app by the government of India, 10 million downloads. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Byju's. I'm not an investor, so I can talk about it. One of the world's largest tech valued company. So we have the depth and breadth of all kinds of flavors in India. The bottommost, there can be a solution. We have in India the lowest cost of mobile phones, mobile technology. Technology is magic. It can find solutions. You do not have to wait for it. Till it comes about, community centers, groups of self-help individuals, groups of corporates have to come, form community centers. Above that, subsidized mobile phone. Above that, you can afford, you can log on. So technology can provide solutions across. It has, it will, and I think it can take care of even the downtrodden.
Absolutely. Also going across to Professor Pushpak now. Professor Pushpak, how can technology be a tool for really solving or solve learning problems that plague both urban and rural India?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me in this discussion. What has happened in this neo-normal is that pandemic has limited the scope of personal interaction. So we have to resort to digital media. And through this new medium, we try to reach our students. A few things which are important in this new situation is that recording is very important. So whenever I deliver a lecture, I make sure that it is recorded at high quality and it is stored very well, saved very well, and it is accessible to the students all the time. The slides are made available. One problem is the descriptive material can be communicated, but there are mathematical material where you have to do derivations and you have to do this step by step. Just showing a large sequence of formula and derivation doesn't help. So we have to make use of tablet where you can do this derivation and things come on the screen. Now coming to urban-rural divide, this is indeed a very important problem. Many students have told me that we cannot attend the online lecture because of bandwidth problem. But we have made sure that they go back and get to see the recording, look at the slides. And I have made sure that we conduct, sessions of sometimes one-to-one and sometimes in a group to explain the material.
Absolutely. So we'll continue to discuss how technology can be used to bridge the urban-rural divide in India after this short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on Amrita Edge presents Disha, Creating Future Thinkers. Welcome back to Amrita Edge presents Disha, Creating Future Thinkers. Now, before the break, we were discussing the digitization of the education sector. Let us now dive deeper and divulge into the impact of the digitization education in the country as the large and populated as India, and the challenges it also poses and the probable solution. Coming back to Ritesh now. Ritesh, in your view, how prepared are our teachers, our educationers to really adapt to technology? Because it has been a new learning for us all in this last 1 year.
The school system, and especially government school system, where we are having almost 60% of our students enrolled into that system. In such system, if we see teachers who are coming, if we analyze the background of these teachers, they have learned, education of very conventional mode of delivery. And if today we are going back and saying that, you have to come and teach it on tablet or in front of camera, it might not be comfortable because this entire pedagogy for them is very new. We started implementing technology solutions in government school systems before pandemic, and we interacted with several teachers. We post our solutions in more than 10,000 schools across the nation. And all of these teachers are having basic issues of running a projector there. So if you're putting a projector system, they'll probably ask someone, to switch it on also. So that kind of a digital divide we have. And if today we are talking, so this is a very important subject. The training of trainers is something which is required. And the form of this, training of teachers should also change. Because what we are talking about is a lot for them. And if we are putting 2 or 3 days of teaching training programs, it is not something which is going to change their behavior towards, adopting such kind of a pedagogy in their life. So training of the teacher should also, so innovation is required in that sector also.
Also going across to Arnab Kumar now. Arnab, what can be the role of government schools and colleges to really go across and train our teachers, make our students learn through this new normal that we are coming up with? In the last 1 year, we all had to, relearn our own techniques as well. And as so many of our panelists have been speaking about the emphasis on increasing our infrastructure as well.
If you look at the latest cricket match numbers, and you will see one of the OTT platforms, there were about 5 million people watching the same cricket match at the same time across many, many types of media devices, mobile phone, TV, tablets, etc. If that kind of scale can be achieved for a live feed without any lag, why can't we use the similar kind of technology in educating our students across the country and making sure our teachers are comfortable using that kind of technology? If they can make a video call on the latest social messaging app, why can't they use a similar technology to teach their students? Why can't they use similar low data or no data environment to do that? So rather than asking our teachers and trainers to always be in the training mode to catch up with the latest technology advancement, we have to flip this question. And we have to say, look, I know your core capability is education. Your core capability is the content that needs to be imparted. People like us from the technology sector has to find a platform to make that matching of student and teacher seamless through the basic fundamental infrastructure technology.
Going across to Ninad now. Ninad, what are the new trends introduced in the education sector in this entire pandemic that you think are here to stay? Because clearly it seems like we are still in that pandemic mode. There is still, in a way, schools have not completely functioned back to normal. So what are the things or the new techniques you think will be carried forward in the future as well?
Technology has fundamentally shifted education in a shape and form it has never experienced before. And how will it go ahead? A hybrid model, more and more digital. On the extreme right, we'll have so much technology, whether you talk about blockchain, AI, virtual reality, all of that will happen. I do believe India has the capability, and technology is magic, to reach even to the lowest section of the society in a different model. If we can build the cheapest mobile in the world in terms of service and handset, why can't we do the same thing for education? It will happen. So broadly, I am very, very gung-ho in terms of the positive side of what will happen. Obviously, at this point of time, a lot of students are suffering, but on the positive side, it will have a deep impact, a lasting impact. And I strongly believe, the quality of education, which has not seen the reach of government schools across India. Now it is known. But the quality is something which reports after reports have castigated, saying that quality is not up to the mark. That is something which hopefully will move a notch higher.
Dr. Prashant, since remote learning is now a new norm, many parents are still in fact skeptical and perhaps they are concerned about the screen timing for their children. And in a way, parents have also found a new respect for our teachers and educationers with their children being at home, and they also have to contribute towards learning. How can we remove that skepticism of the parents who might in a way feel that their children are spending too much time in front of a screen?
Yeah, Richa, it's a very valid concern that you have told. I think the onus lies on the teacher because, obviously the parents are interacting with the teacher. And all the speakers before me were talking about the role of the teacher. I think the teacher has to be a mentor. A teacher has to be a facilitator, both a mentor and a facilitator of teaching. And I think it's the onus is on the teacher to change himself or herself to be very digitally savvy, embrace technology in all possible forms. We are going to see more and more digitization. We are going to see more and more proliferation of technologies. I see in the future, students probably, in huge campuses, they probably will be staying in their apartments or their hostels and they'll be attending classes online. They may just come for laboratory work to the college or the university. So things are going to change. And definitely parents have this concern. I think the onus is on the teachers to kind of, talk to the parents and explain this. And I believe there are a lot of, there may be a lot of technologies that could be used, to kind of ameliorate these kind of issues, screen time and all those things. There could be technologies, probably people have to look at those kind of technologies also by which, your eyesight is not so much strained and stuff like that.
Absolutely. In fact, another question to you, Dr. Prashant. Since we do know that remote learning will be with us for at least a near future, how can we still ensure that value-based learning that's not dependent on classroom is still maintained?
I think, we all of us in the education system have to be accountable. Industry 4.0, leverages the power of SMAC. Social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. I think education also has to transform. We have to be ready with all kind of analytics. Whether it's the teaching learning process, whether it is the delivery, whether it is the technology platform, whether it is the teacher, whether it is the student, accepting the technology. I think we need different levels of analytics to bring about accountability in the system. So we have to look at all models. We have to have technologies where we avoid this kind of plagiarism, avoid all kind of, malpractices by students. So the answer to this would be having analytics at all levels and making the entire education system accountable.
Absolutely. Thanking all our panelists and guests for joining us here today and discussing such an important subject for all of us in the country. And with rapid changes in the education sector, everything from the way we teach to the way we learn are changing. And sooner or later, we will have to adapt to it in order to grow and prosper as a country. Adapting to technology and ensuring that it reaches every student in the country might be the only way forward in this quest. With that, we come to an end to Amrita Edge Presents Disha, creating future thinkers. Thank you for joining us and stay safe, stay updated with Republic TV.